thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the Bow Group, for hosting tonight's, what I regard, extremely important discussion on immigration, the borders, and our impact on public services post-Brexit. And I want to offer also, at this stage, my great thanks and admiration for Daniel, you're doing, and the EOG, in trying to ensure that what I regarded as a moment of triumph, a moment of hope, a moment of inspiration for the future of this nation, when I stood in Manchester in June of 16 in my town hall where I used to study, like yourself, a grandchild of immigrant parents, black, Jewish and Irish, to this country, who had to go to the library to study every day to get my O-levels and A-levels and then win the scholarships that I got, because of this country's ability through the vote to give us a free education and health and all the other things that we regard as important. And in that hall, I saw the British people turn around and for once say, we matter more than you, and it's time that you listen to us. You told us you would. But what I feared now is that they're going to be overruled and ignored. And I'd written this kind of speech here in front of me a little bit, and I do want to touch on some of this, because one of the things that's crucial on this, and why I think the Bow Group is at the forefront, once again, of understanding the issue that deeply matters to this country, deeply matters to the Conservative Party members and their activists, although I'm not one, and was a crucial and essential issue in the Brexit referendum. And once again, the Bow Group, I think, has identified the growing influence of a group of paternalistic, I believe, Conservative MPs, Remainer supporting businessmen, people and groups, and an anti-Brexit coalition who are campaigning not only to revoke Brexit, but also on the issue of immigration, destroy current Conservative Party policy and destroy the consensus that we had in Britain that we should have a fair, flexible and forward-thinking immigration policy post-Brexit. One that I believe was inclusive to all of those who want to come to us all. Not exclusive to say that you had better rights if you're an EU citizen than somebody that comes from India, Pakistan or Australia. Sorry. It doesn't matter to me whether you're an Indian doctor or a German doctor. As long as you wish to treat us, you can speak our language, you have the exams, and nor did the British people. We just wanted to have the talent here. And yet Europe always believed that their citizens mattered more than those of the rest of the world. And I was against that, partly because my family is mixed, of all those different nationalities. And I crossed the border today, coming here from Belgium, and obviously I was late here, but I didn't walk all the way on my crutches. I mean, it's something I normally do, obviously, at a weekend. I had a chat with the border guard, and I said, how's it going? And he said they're still quite despondent, because they don't feel that they're given the resources or powers to control an ever-increasing influx of illegal migration and the gangsters and thugs who are finding the methods to get people into the United Kingdom. And why is Britain and others seeing the issue of controlling our borders as an important issue? Because firstly, sensible people recognise the difference between noting immigration can bring some benefit to a nation, and those that advocate immigration per se brings untold benefits, with no nuance in it whatsoever. Secondly, sensible people recognise arguing for government-controlled immigration policies is not an argument attacking an individual migrant or person that's come here, a group of migrants, or those who work or contribute to Britain, but does permit us to deal with those who are illegal, don't wish to contribute, don't wish to be involved in our society or integrate. We want to be sensible policies dealing with decent people who want to work in our community, like our parents and grandparents who did that before us. And thirdly, any sensible person recognises the cost to government by not controlling immigration is huge. Now, I know these are opening remarks, so I've got a whole series of costs to these, but I want to just touch on one point here. This document here was handed to me on Wednesday in the European Parliament. It's a research paper done for 3 of the committees. The Budgetary Affairs Committee is the most important. And it talks about the amount of EU funds for migrant, asylum and integration policies across the whole of Europe from the period 2014 to 2020. The European Parliament says that they have had to increase the budget from 8.2 billion to 14.2 billion in the period of the last 2 years for that 6 period. That means that Britain's contribution to that is around 2 billion. In addition, 4.4 billion has gone to Turkey, another 800 million to the UK. And I flagged it up here, but I'll go through that. On border control for the UK, Lithuania got 220 million euros back from that. What did Britain get for our border control from that? From our contribution to Turkey and that 14.2 billion? Zero. We have to fund our own border control to the extent that we have to give 30 million over to the French to help with their policing of our borders. There's something unfair about it when they recognise that we had over 2 million people coming in illegally. So I would say to you this as my concluding remarks. Some leading Brexiteers, unfortunately, have started to become deluded in the view that trade deals matter more than immigration and control of borders to the voters. Just take a look at the local elections and how important they were to the Conservative Party with Brexiteers. I think some of those who are Remainer ministers and MPs are beginning to become slightly deceitful in the way that they're arguing over this issue, as though it doesn't matter to the populace as a whole. I believe it does, and we need to be careful of that. And finally, I think if the Conservative Party wants to benefit from Brexit, then they must not fall into the false arguments being handed by those who believe that immigration has no impact for the Conservative Party at all. It does. Ignore it, Corbyn will be in and the Conservatives out, and that is the worst of all circumstances for us all. Thank you.